I don't care what you look like or what you think. I don't care what you do or where you're from. All I care about is that gift hidden inside you. And all I want to do is help it come alive. Because where we're going, we're going to need a lot of heroes. For the record, 10,000 Heroes is brought to you by Momentum Lab. The point of Momentum Lab is to turn idealists into impactors by aligning your dreams and aspirations with success in every area of your life today. Momentum Lab is like a playground for your highest self. We take your dreams seriously and help you remove any blocks to realizing them. We do this through courses, virtual events, in-person events, and our signature year-long accelerator. To join our world, engage in dialogue, meet up in person, and just blow your mind, sign up at momentumlab.com. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to 10,000 Heroes. This podcast is about inspiration. It's about enthusiasm. It's about connection. Today is a very special episode because I'm going deep into my bread world a little bit. But it's a little bit different because it was filmed video first. So, these are all on video these days. We have the YouTube channel and everything. But normally they're in this studio where I am right now. But this episode was filmed while I was making bread. And so it's a little bit different. Like there's not a lot of the person talking. It's not a lot of my face. It's mainly the hands and the bread. And on the audio version, you'll notice that there's a few moments where there's 10 or 15 or 20 seconds without talking because I'm actually manipulating the bread. My hand, I'm working the bread. And so that's just part of it. And I'm curious how that works for you. You'll be able to, if you listen, you'll really tune in because the sounds are there. The sound of the scraper, the sound of the dough, the sound of the shaping, the sound of the beeping of the oven, the steam in the oven. It's all there. And so maybe that'll create a welcome ambiance and you get a break from just seeing my face and hear me talk all the time, which is never what I wanted to do in life anyways. But this is really about going deep into the gratitude that's in every grain of wheat. So that's the experiment. Let me know what you think.
Good morning, everybody. This is Uncle Rochelle, Delight, and I'm going to try and do my morning bread gratitude ritual on camera, which I've never done before, and honestly, not so great with cameras. So we'll have to see how this goes. I'm going to start with the grain. So I guess by way of introduction or explanation, this is dough that I mixed yesterday. Actually, I made a mistake yesterday and forgot a step, so it's actually dough I mixed the day before. Normally it's a 24-hour ferment. This is closer to a 48-hour ferment. May not work. It's just the nature of everything, though. And I'm going to start. There's only 4 ingredients in this bread, in these 4 loaves. And I'm going to start with the flour, just the wheat. Wow. So the grain is grown by a gentleman named Nash Huber. Lives down the street. He's been a mentor of mine since I was a kid. Just kind of like an older, kind of trippy older dude. And then later when I wanted to study farming, he was my farming mentor. And then I got to see how trippy it really was. Just an amazing character, amazing relationship with plants, can predict the weather, and also just amazing energy with people. But he's been growing food in this valley, organic food, for a long time. And I don't know, maybe 20 years ago, I started growing grain. And since the beginning of my bread project, 2014, it's the only grain I've really used. There have been a few stints where it wasn't available, and so I used something else. But in general, if I can't have grain of this quality, I'll stop baking. This is really, it's about this. The flavor, the vibrancy, the quality, the localness of this grain. It's hard red wheat. It's called espresso. So, I mean, first and foremost, things come to mind is just being grateful for Nash. And then, of course, there's all of the trappings of modern, small-scale industrial agriculture, because it's still industrial, that he uses to grow 100 acres or so of grain. Internal combustion engines, giant tractors, lines of credit from banks that he's not always friends with, big tractor companies, oil and gas exploration, gasoline, diesel. Can't be ignored. That's as much as I want to be like, oh, that stuff is evil. I'm just very, very, very grateful for all of it. Otherwise, Nash doesn't get to farm and I don't get to make bread. So there's that. I guess even before that, there's the whole, the miracle of the growth of these plants, right? So it goes back to the sun, and there's this energy. It's like incredible, powerful, seemingly unlimited, though no, that's not true. The sun's going to go out at some point. Energy source that is the energy behind everything on the planet. And it's the energy embodied in this like fake countertop in the wheat, in our movement. So there's that energy, and then there's gotta load that up with steam. What's crazy about all this is that the whole creation is linked in every moment, in every object, which most of the time we either forget or perhaps are willfully trying to ignore. I have no idea which. But when we get involved in the gratitude, I can't forget it. You know, we're talking about wheat, and we get to a guy I know who grows the wheat, but he can only grow the wheat because of all the stuff that's going on with modern industrial agriculture, which involves metal and fabrication and gas and oil exploration and refining and all of these different companies and capital and loans and banks and investment banks, and it's just like all part of it. And without any of those pieces, most of which I'm like supposedly against, this doesn't happen. What I'm doing, which is the thing that I'm most for in the world. So it's just so confusing, really. And then you go back to the biology of it and the wheat. And of course, there's been, it's not GMO, but there's been traditional plant breeding on the wheat. And it just, you really quickly get back to the sun, that all energy in this wheat is from photosynthesis, which is from the sun, and all matter and nutrient in this wheat is from the earth, of course, which is the product of like all kinds of insane biological activity and mixture of small creatures. Like, I don't even know what they're called, like the little tiny insect guys and the worm guys and then the microbes and the mushrooms, the mycelium and all of that. It's all just mixed in there, which is what allows the soil to have fertility and allows the wheat to grow and be nutritious and have mass. And so you can't get beyond like this almost like ancient cosmic drama of father son type entity and like the mother earth Pachamama. It's in everything around us. It's totally crazy. So that's just the wheat. We can't be grateful for the wheat without being grateful for the entire like meteorological system and the rain and just the origin of the planet is some like, I don't know, blown up piece of a star that coalesced due to gravity. We have to give thanks to gravity. Like without gravity, obviously none of this is going to happen. But in the most basic way, like obviously I'm not standing here without gravity, but neither is this planet formed without gravity. So there's that. And then there's all the people that are involved in all the systems. And it's like all the systems to build, all the components. And this is just for the wheat, and then there's the whole, like, that's just the whole grain wheat. And you got to mill it. Which now I have a mill on my counter, which is awesome. But again, that mill was like made in some sort of factory. I don't even know where. And it's covered with this like fake bamboo stuff, which looks really beautiful. And there's stones in there, and there's metal, and there's electricity. Right, so the electricity. And the electricity, if you're watching the state, it's basically all hydroelectric. It comes from like the damming of these like giant rivers on the other side of the state, most of which I've never seen. And it's just, again, how many people are involved in that every moment in that continuing to work, electricity continuing to flow here. And here, this is, the bread ferments for 24 to 48 hours. This is rice flour, so there's no unfermented wheat flour because people don't digest wheat that well. I don't even know what this rice flour, and it's the whole thing we went to with the wheat, we're going to with the rice with just different people. You know, it's crazy. All right, let's try it out here for us. This may or may not work because I let this ferment for way too long, but so it may not have the shape we like, but either way, it's going to have a really good taste. It has a long, slow fermentation. This is jumping the gun on a gratitude for another day, but a long, slow fermentation gives the kind of bacteria and mushrooms and whatever else is going on there really good flavor. All right. Rise, my friends. Spring in the oven. That's what I want you to do. I hear you. Happy home. That's jingle. Okay, gratitude, part 1. Just for the sake of completion, here's the final product an hour later. I wish you could hear the little crackle that happens when that crust gets out. But thank you for joining me today. And may you all be grateful. May you all be proactively grateful for every piece of matter and energy in the creation, because it's connected to this moment for you and me right now.
Hi everyone, this is Martin Stan, your producer, audio editor, and sound designer in chief for the 10,000 Heroes team. I just wanted to take a minute to thank you for listening to our show. Let me tell you a couple of things. 10,000 Heroes is brought to you by the team at Momentum Lab. Pierre does our artwork, DJ Plainview composed our theme music, and I handle all the editing, production, and sound design. And now we are closing this episode with a word from our main sponsor, who also happens to be our host, Anchor.
Hey everybody, thanks again for listening. If you like this episode, there's 2 things I want you to do. 1, introduce me to the most inspiring person you know so I can have them on the show. And 2, take the next step towards us hanging out in person. Maybe that's signing up for the newsletter. Maybe that's attending an upcoming in-person or virtual event. What I'm trying to do here is destroy the basic one-to-many nature of this medium, podcast, entertainment, and replace it with something that actually builds connections between people, the beloved community, getting closer together, understanding each other, one conversation at a time. So, join me. Bye!